Hey everybody, it's Dr. J here from Check and 365 Academy of Baseball. I wanted to share with you guys some fascinating results from some of the fitness testing that I've been doing recently, which I think will not only be helpful to the athletes and young athletes that I'm working with, but just from this example, as you're going to see, this is something that's going to be helpful for anybody who wants to get in shape. Even if you haven't been exercising for a while, you're trying to get more healthy, you're going to be able to see how this testing can highlight and let you see what's going on so that you know what to work on and how to fix things to get healthier and in better shape. What we're looking at right here is a fitness test that I did on myself. I can do fitness testing with a lot of different methodologies. It can be on a bike, it can be on a treadmill. This is done on a treadmill, but there's no running involved. This is just using the incline and just walking. It's one of my favorite test modalities because you can do it with people who are really heavy and you don't want to put a lot of strain on their joints. You can do it on people that don't like to run, and it just gets great results and is not too difficult. But what you're looking at here, let me explain what we're looking at in this chart. This is my test, and if you look over here to the left, there's a 3-minute warm-up period. There is a period here in pink where the speed of the treadmill is going up in increments. It's flat though. And then here in the blue is when the incline starts to increase every minute by a certain increment. And that's these little red steps here that you can see. And what's going on up here with all these lines, this is where it gets important. The light green line is my heart rate, which you see is pretty steady here until the incline starts to go up and then it begins to climb. VT, the dark green line, that's my tidal volume. That's the amount of air that I'm moving in and out of my lungs per breath. And as you see, it's pretty steady here as the speed's increasing, but once that treadmill starts to go up and that incline goes up, then you can see that I'm starting to move more and more air through my lungs, where I peak here at 3.6 liters per breath. And the the purple line here is just my breathing frequency, which obviously is going to go up as well. That's how many breaths per minute. It's going to go up as it gets more difficult. Over to the right here, just to make sure you guys understand what's going on, anybody that I do a fitness test on, I need to test their lungs beforehand to make sure that they don't have any issues with their lungs that's happening before exercise. Basically, I want to see if they have any capacity issues. So this is my forced vital capacity. That's the amount of air that I'm able to get out of my lungs in 6 seconds. That's about 5.3 liters. And then FEV1, that's how much I can get out in 1 second, about 4 liters. It's going to obviously be less than I can get out in 6 seconds. But just that's the framework of what's going on here. What I want to show you, and what's most important, is that I want you to look at what happens right here once I stop exercising. Basically, this is when I turn the treadmill off and I do a 2.5 minute just standing there recovery. And when I turn that treadmill off, number one, note that my tidal volume is at its peak because I'm doing as much work as I can. My heart rate is at its peak as well. And once the treadmill goes off, do you see how everything goes down together? My breathing frequency goes down, my heart rate goes down, and my tidal volume goes down because now I'm recovering. I don't need to move as much air through my lungs. I don't need to have my heart beating as fast, and the frequency goes down of how many breaths I'm taking per minute. This is a normal recovery. Okay, and I want to show you guys something. I'm going to bring up here a male who did the test in late late March, about the same age, and he, if you look here at the end, when the incline starts to go up, his heart rate goes up very, steadily, but he's having a little difficulty with two things. One, his breathing frequency is a bit erratic, and also notice in the dark green that his tidal volumes, although they're trending up, they're then dipping back down. And if you notice, when he stops the treadmill, I'll go over here where it's a little more clear. When we stop the treadmill because he can't go any further and he's reached his maximum, his tidal volume is not even at its maximum. You see that right here? See how this is down here? Even though his heart rate's at its maximum, his breathing frequency is at its maximum, for some reason he is not able to move air in and out of his lungs per breath to keep up with that. Then notice that once he stops and his heart rate comes down, his breathing frequency comes down, suddenly he's able to then move air through his lungs again at its maximum. So his tidal volume goes back up. And that's not normal. Ideally he'd want to be able to move as much air as possible through his lungs when he needs it, not after he, has to stop. And this is something that can be corrected and fixed because he's just having difficulty coordinating his breathing, even though he has relatively good lung capacity. I mean, it's close to predicted. It's not spectacular, but this is a real problem here that needs to be solved for this gentleman. Let me show you another example. I'm going to bring up a female who's a bit younger right here, and in this case 28-year-old female. So again, heart rate's going up as would be expected, breathing frequencies going up as would be expected. And she's a little better here with her tidal volumes in that there's not as much erratic behavior as the workout gets more difficult. So you see it's trending up here. But what's very interesting, even with this young lady, is that once she can't go any further and she has to stop the treadmill, her heart rate goes down, her breathing frequency goes down, but check that out, her tidal volume goes up, and that again is not normal. She should be able to, be getting air in and out of her lungs at its maximum when she's exercising. She shouldn't have to wait until she stops in order to do that. So again, this is a coordination issue that can be solved with some ventilatory training, respiratory training. Now, just imagine if she's capable of moving up here, she's moving 3 liters of air in her lungs per breath, and down here she's only moving 2.7. Imagine if we solve this problem for this young lady and she's able to then move, 3 liters, 2.9, but move a decent amount of air through her lungs as she's headed up, and it's getting more difficult. Number one, it's going to totally improve her exercise capacity and capabilities, and allow her to burn more calories and do more exercise and feel more comfortable, because her issue here is that she cannot coordinate her breathing to get the maximum amount of air into her lungs once she starts moving and exercising. So you can kind of see this phenomenon. I'm going to bring it up one more time so you can see all 3 of our charts at the same time. Let's get this down and right here. Okay, so you see here this top one, mine, stop exercising, all 3 head down. My tidal volume is at its maximum when I'm at my peak. I can't do any more, and I'm getting as much air as I can into my lungs. At no time was it any higher during the test, and once I'm done, it goes down. The gentleman that I showed you, look at that. His heart rate's at its peak, his breathing frequency's at its peak, but at that moment his tidal volume is not at its peak, and then once we turn off the treadmill and he's now resting, heart rate goes down, breathing frequency goes down, sorry, but his tidal volume goes up. And with this young lady, same thing. Once she gets to her peak, she's got peak heart rate, she's got peak breathing frequency, and her tidal volume is, it's up there, but once she stops, boom, it shoots up, and now she can get more air in and out of her lungs once she stopped and is at rest. We want to fix that. We want her to be moving about 3 liters and have it up here so that when she stops exercise, it goes straight down, just like it did in mine. So hopefully this gives you some idea of some of the benefits that can come from some of the testing I'm doing. This is the regular people right here. You can imagine baseball players, football players, runners, cyclists, anybody who's having a breathing coordination issue when they get towards their maximum. If it can be isolated and then solved, they're going to be able to do more. They're going to be able to be faster in a race and run faster and run farther. So you can really see the benefits of this. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to post or get in touch with me. And thank you. Bye.